The first half of today was all eager, so why not just continue things off with the second half and bring two eager players to the desk with me? DJ Pedicus is joining me alongside the Chunk at the end as well. Congratulations, first of all. We've not actually spoken to you since you've now officially the #1 seed. How does it feel?
Great.
Yeah.
There's I don't know how to explain it. It just feels good.
Yeah. No, I think this is definitely one of those times, at least for me, where you put in a lot of work and you get a lot out of it, which always feels good. So yeah, we're really excited going forward. It should be continued fun.
Well, we get to actually go through the picks and bans here of Allegiance versus LG. There is one more spot up for grabs at the moment. Obviously, LG in a dominant position here up against Allegiance. Your money for you guys, overall, who do you reckon is going to be joining you?
LG.
LG.
Yeah.
Look, it's a really hard road for Allegiance. I feel like, I don't know, they have to count on Noble taking a game, and they also have to sweep here 2-0, which is going to be really, really hard to do.
Yeah, I think the interesting thing about this LAN was, you know, obviously everyone with Noble, they thought it was free wins. And that's a really tricky situation because nothing is free, right? When you're talking about players this good, you know, people can bash them all they want, but at the end of the day, they still know how to click their buttons pretty good.
Completely.
You know, obviously ALG lost one game to Noble, and that put him in a really tough spot.
It really has come back to bite him a little bit. Well, these guys are heading to Super Regionals and then hopefully towards the World Championships. You guys can come along to hi-rez.expo.com to go and get your tickets right about now as well. And actually, I've got a request for you.
Okay.
As well, Raw. Can you make sure you fail at Super Regionals again this year?
I don't know.
I want to cast with you again, man.
I know you want to cast with me, but I'm not gonna
Did
miss
you make
this
that happen
chance.
for me? Is that
can't
okay?
do that. I can't do that.
Yeah, we can't do that.
Can't agree to it.
It's real serious business this year. Especially, I think Zap would be very upset, especially with all the attempts he's made as well.
I think everyone,
Yeah.
and me too. Like I said in the interview you guys had with me earlier, you know, I don't know how much longer I'm gonna be playing video games like to this level. Right?
You're getting old.
Yeah, I mean, it's just
You're dying almost now.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm having a hard time walking.
Don't worry, I know the field too. It's the same way, so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I heard you were 54.
Close to. But for the most part, all I gotta do is speak. I have to press buttons and think even more. For the most part, I just say what I see for most of the time. I don't even have to be right either, so that's okay too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you
That's why
guys
we-
rarely are.
Exactly.
Ooh, no, I'm just kidding.
Oh, Sting burn! Oh, wow. Well, all I can do is play Buster and split push because I can't
Wow.
team fight and I'm really, really bad.
I'm a
But I'm really
hacker.
good at shout outs when I fight weaken,
Yep. It's a
which is pretty
specialty.
impressive.
Thank you.
Well, the teams we got up for you here is going to be LG versus Allegiance. Allegiance, well, they need to 2-0 here to still have a shot and then rely on Noble as well. The team compositions, obviously, going to be very interested to see the picks and bans and the strategies coming out from these two teams. Is there any expectations you have from these two teams coming into this?
I feel like it's going to be kind of the same thing we've been seeing all tournament. I don't know if they've held anything, because if they have, that doesn't make any sense, because they needed to win games, both teams, if they won a first seed. So I feel like we're definitely going to see sort of the same picks coming out from each team, especially Luminosity. I feel like they have like a standard style that they like to play. Maybe they'll spice it up a little bit, knowing that these games are a little looser for them, but I feel like they definitely want to take it home and just put ALG in the grave.
Without giving too much away as well about what your strategies were coming into this one, what were the strengths that you really saw in this LG lineup before you came into play against them?
Well, obviously they have like a core that's been here, done that. I think that's the biggest strength. I think when you come to LAN, especially this LAN, you really see how much it matters to be comfortable and be able to play, because obviously some people played great sitting in their comfy chair at home, and they come here and the chair's not quite as comfy and they don't play so
Is that the
great.
biggest issue, the chair?
Yes.
Is that all it is?
Yes, it's just the chair.
I've heard like people like Cope complaining that the tables were lower than what he's used to.
Yeah.
He normally plays on a really high table and things.
Right.
And like coming to LAN, you know, you got to all get used to that situation. But all you guys have done that before, whereas LG's, you know, 3 rookies on this lineup for the most part who've never really been to the LAN stage before.
Yep.
Does that make him a lot more difficult, I guess?
I don't know. They have 2 really good veteran leaders on their team, in Jeff and BaRRaCCuDDa. So I feel like they could calm the other people's nerves down, all the rookies, Scary D, Mask, and Xeno. On the first day, I definitely saw some nerves coming out of them, but I feel like as this tournament's gone on, they've definitely cleaned up their act, and they've been playing a lot better, and they haven't been as nervous, which is really good for LG.
We're into picks and bans here, and Allegiance and Luminosity are going to be. Luminosity is going to be second pick here as well. Actually, talking a little bit about the second pick option here. Do you guys have a favorite? Because when I watched you through the online stage, you played 2 games of Order, and the rest were Chaos. Is there a certain strategy involved in that?
I don't remember the last split.
Honestly,
This split. It's still
Yeah,
the same
yeah, yeah.
split.
Well, this split. I don't remember the start of this split.
to be honest, our split was just like random.
Yeah.
It was not. a real
So there's no real benefit of being one side to the other at the moment, you feel, or is there strategies for both sides?
There is. I think for
definitely.
What I'm saying is for the split, we weren't in the same mode of preparation that we are now. So ours is kind of should just be ignored. But yeah, no, I think first pick's probably pretty strong right here. Second pick is too. It really comes down to what your team wants to do, right?
Okay.
You see our picks are a lot different than other teams, but everyone has their own idea on it.
Wow, the Sobek really surprises me from Team Allegiance though, because they haven't picked it all tournament. Teams have been leaving it up against them, thinking that they wouldn't pick it up, and this is the first time they've actually picked it up first over any other god. And I bet Luminosity was counting on them getting Sobek, but I don't think they're too worried about it as well.
Do you feel it's more of a pick away from JeffHindla than it is a pick for Allegiance?
Yeah, and it's also just a very strong pick in general, so I feel like that's probably why they went for it.
Yeah. Well, Jingwei and Sol been locked in, and we've seen Luminosity do this before, but we saw the Jingwei go mid lane and the Sol into the duo lane as well. Do you expect to see the same thing, DJ?
Yeah. I mean, this is a pure comfort pick right here for both of them. Sol, BaRRaCCuDDa loves it. Jingwei, it's probably the only god I feel like Xenotronics is super comfortable at this very point at LAN, you know.
Okay.
It's something, he's done a lot online, and here he's had a little bit of success, so yeah, it's really nice for them.
And we do see that Nox coming out one more time as well for MLC Stealth this game as well. How do you feel about the Nox, Junk?
Yeah, the Nox is good. I love Nox personally, but she's really good against tanks, I guess, but I don't know if she's very good in like the overall landscape of the game. Like, if the game goes late, she's definitely not going to do as much as the other mages, but early on, she's a very good fighter, and you could take any mid-camp fight you want. But surprisingly, Awilix comes out. This is very interesting.
Yeah. But this just combined nicely with the Sobek, I guess, overall. It's not the be-all and end-all for the reason to pick Sobek and Awilix, but it has got a nice little interaction that can help them out a little bit more and kind of put you on the back foot and taking leaps.
Yeah, for sure.
Although, you look at the other team, obviously Jingwei it's really good against. But Sol, which is going to be likely on BaRRa, is someone you need to pay special attention to, and I don't know if Awilix is going to be able to do much of anything against that. So that would be a concern I would have if I was Allegiance right now.
So going into the last couple of picks here, with the bans coming through of Neath, first of all, from Luminosity, what are both teams really looking to round out their compositions with here?
I think Luminosity is thinking that Allegiance wants more CC, so that's why they took away the Neath from the Hunter role, because it is hard to get CC out of the Hunter role, so I'm curious to see what they're going to pick up. The Erlang is still available, and I know Copebby loves that character, so I definitely could see them picking that for a route to help Nox set up her combos. For Luminosity, I don't know what they're gonna run off their comp with. They haven't picked their jungler yet, so we've seen 4 jungle bans coming out of Allegiance, so Mask is gonna have to dig deep into his god pool to find something. And
you two know Mask well enough, right? You should know where he's gonna go here, I expect.
No? I don't know. The thing is a lot of junglers, especially even like the quote-unquote top junglers, are pretty predictable in their picks, and those picks are pretty typical picks.
Bastet, maybe?
I mean, it's a good pick.
I wouldn't be surprised.
But I wouldn't be surprised if this Sobek wins solo. Even you're thinking about it. Weekend likes to gank a lot. Something he does. Sobek, could play solo. He could pluck. He could tail whip. Weekend can yank. I mean. Who knows? We'll find out.
Well, we're going to see the Guan Yu potentially being picked up here. More than likely, it's going to be for JeffHindla.
Yeah, this is very interesting. They have stayed away from Guan all tournament, but yeah, I was expecting more of a Fafnir pick or something. That's more Jeff's style. They also have Sobek on Team Allegiance side, so they have anti-healing. They could pluck him into the team, kill him really fast. And Guan might not be the best pick against Nox as well, because you can silence him out. If he tries to heal his teammates, you just drop a silence on everybody, and they have to spread out, and then Guan's not healing anybody.
Well, Allegiance, look at the last 2 picks. There's an army being hovered over right now. Have you guys practiced with his army at all? Had a chance to play with her at all? Like her at all?
I mean, there was a couple games played with her in scrims, but that's when she first got released. Well, after she got changed where she does 75%, then 25%. Not right when she got released, but right when she got changed the first time. She's definitely better, but I don't know how good she is yet because teams haven't had enough time on her.
Well then,
Spicy.
This looks like a bit of a spicy situation. So the bait seems to have been, we're going to pick a Awilix, so you're not going to take leaps, and then we're going to pick stuff that are going to root you in place and allow extra damage. How do you feel about the comp, DJ?
I mean, Skadi is one of those gods where he can go really good or really bad. She's this very, very scary come late game, the pet. But we'll see. And these games have been going a little bit longer. They've been a little bit slower, so that might favor her in that sense.
We also see the Kuang being hovered over here. We've not seen much Kuang this LAN whatsoever. Is there a particular reason North America don't really like it anymore? Don't value it as much?
I think Kuang's always good. It's just hard to fit him into the team fight. So that's probably why teams aren't picking them. People probably didn't put their strategy around him so much. So I feel like they were going to going for more team fighty comps that you could work together as a team together and kill people.
So on paper here, if you had to make a call who's going to win this one, not knowing the players, just the compositions, who would you go with?
I don't know. It's close.
I would go with Luminosity.
Yeah.
I think there's too much of a one-trick pony on Team Allegiance, and if it goes bad, then it's gonna go real bad.
And then look at their comp as well. They have Fafnir, and they also have Jing Wei and Soul. So you could buff both your hunters, and they're just gonna be destroying people with that buff later on in the game.
Wow, such excitement. Much well from you two today. Thank you so much for joining me for this one. But we're going to head over to F.Dot and Anatoly now to bring you this game and action. Luminosity is the expected winners. Will they go through as well, Tom, right now?
We'll certainly take a look. You know, breaking down the pick and ban phase. First of all, I always love to hear what DJ and Aurora have to bring to the commentary section, because DJ is just notoriously and emphatically honest. When it comes down to it, I got to completely agree with him. This is an all-in push from Team Allegiance. A lot can go wrong here, but if all the stars completely align, it can go very right.
Absolutely, but I have to agree with Aurora as well. On the flip side, the way he diagnosed Luminosity's team comp, the late game hunters paired up with Fafnir onto JeffHindla, I'm really liking that style. They're really confident once they get into the late game, so Allegiance, they're going to really have to pull through really early with their CC composition.
It's going to be Cope on the solo Awilix, and we'll see the Cabrakan head out into the jungle. All in all, I think this is an interesting situation, because here's the deal for me. Awilix hits her stride in that mid game, right? She's able to do a lot of the damage. When it comes late game, Awilix is very dangerous to deal damage with, similar to the feeling that people had about Mercury, where if you wrap them up in the special delivery, well, you're standing still and you're going to get smoked. The same can be said about Featherstep. You're going to put yourself in a problematic situation.
We haven't seen solo Awilix until Cyclone Spin was playing it before, up in Season 2, being paired up with Weekend with whatever he wanted to play in the jungle role. So maybe this is Weekend trying to build up a different style for this last set of the day, in the last game of the tournament. They're trying to find the last 3 remaining points, and this is digging really deep.
I mean, this is, and again, they're going to look for the invade.
But look how Luminosity have responded. They know it's coming, so they're going to do their own back harpies as a response. There is no Wrath from Allegiance, so they're not going to be able to really get this in time before Luminosity contest it.
Yeah, Wiggins just looking for the burst out of his own shot. They just successfully figured that one out. And Awilix has a fantastic level 1, which I think was the game plan here. Cope gets the Feather Step, but it's going to send ScaryD to lane. Cope and Weekend thinking about the blue buff at the very least. But I don't think they've got the tools to go for it. Instead, going to head back to lane.
The cooldowns are very short for both the Awilix and the Cabrakan. They utilized it really perfectly. I didn't think that they were going to be able to really get this in time, but both ScaryD and Mask, they couldn't find the timing window. The Cabrakan burst was a little too strong being paired up with the Awilix, and they couldn't even fight level 1. And I like that style, because against Kuang at level 1, he's one of the weakest level 1 junglers, so the fact that Allegiance grouped up and abused it really digs deep to the old school AFK styles that we can used to do.
Right now, Cope's getting in trouble though. Scary able to smack him around a little bit. And, you know, when it comes down to it, I really enjoy seeing players and teams get creative. I think that bringing out pocket strategies and pocket picks is a good thing, but here's one thing that is an issue. Cope doesn't look very strong on the Awilix just yet. Sure, he's level 2. But I also think that too much of a good thing is a bad thing, right? And not only are you experimenting with an Awilix solo, a Cabrakan jungle, but you're also playing around with this Skadi in the Hunter lane.
It's going to be Weekend, though, and going into the soul lane, almost able to take out ScaryD, and this is what Weekend is known for. This is how he made a name for himself, just constantly sitting in the soul lane. Because the fact that Mask made the first rotation, Weekend has to respond back, and without the blue buff from either side right now, it's going to be Cope with Weekend grabbing their blue buff first.
Now, finally, we're going to see the right side jungle being cleared out by both of our teams here. Keep in mind that speed buff is going to be staggered, and that will certainly give an advantage to Allegiance if they want to keep up the pressure.
In the dual lane, Incon forced to dash away. Jeff playing very aggressive with Baron. I like this style. The seasoned veterans from Luminosity always knows what to do, and this is the one strength from Luminosity, but it cannot be their weakness. ScaryD is taking a lot of damage, but he's returning the poke from Cope because of the bluestone on this Awilix. The damage over time constantly finds the archers targeting Awilix.
ScaryD so close to death. Gonna head back to base, and he'll be able to teleport right on back. Awilix does not have that luxury, so she's going to have to stay in lane and play it a little bit more dangerously.
Cope recognizes that the jungler is mass playing the out Kuang, so he goes to Purification expecting getting ganked really early in the laning phase, but that's going to hurt his ability to get back into the laning phase. So ScaryD, with that teleport on cooldown, is going to be having an aggressive time to be able to try to bully out Cope under the tower and then maybe deny some experience if he wants to.
And that certainly looks like a possibility. Cope able to throw out the bowling ball, as I like to call it.
Cope's going to lose so much Gold here, though. But look how quickly Allegiance, they're going to group up around the Gold Fury. The Wrath is available for Incon, and with Coldier tanking it for a little bit, Allegiance walk away with a 3-minute gold.
And that's understanding your composition, what it brings to the table, and how you're able to exert that strength. You've got the mid lane Nox that provides a ton of damage and a ton of objective secure. You talk about the Cabrakan, Nox can do the same thing in that regard, plus even more so, the Silence Bubble provides fantastic zoning potential and area denial if you need that.
The timing of this Gold Fury was perfect because it was around the 3 to 320 mark, and this is where the red and speed buff respawn. Mask and BaRRaCCuDDa wanted to grab their own buffs, and as a response, Luminosity, they just got swindled. They had no idea that Allegiance was going to go for that early of a Gold Fury.
And that certainly works out in their favor. Brings them about 700 gold in the lead. ScaryD getting hurt just a little bit.
It's going to be
going
a dive,
for
though.
it.
Cope diving in, the tower taking 2 shots. ScaryD now going to sustain back, but this favors Cope, though, even though he took those 2 tower shots, training out the ultimate for ScaryD. Cope, if he finds the knockup, he'll find the pull and maybe a kill.
Instead, ScaryD going to play it safe. These fire elementals are spawning very soon, and we'll likely see the Allegiance guys pick this up. Weekend is here, and Scary knows it despite not having vision, getting communication from his teammates.
Once you recognize that the Fire Giant Elementals are up, until you reset that little icon on the mini-map, you don't really want to overextend in the soul lane, especially when you're dealing with an assassin in the soul lane that's paired up with Weekend on the Cabrakan. He always loves to play aggressive and look for those early solo lane ganks. So great discipline from ScaryD, just waiting a little bit.
So Venenu here on this Skadi, we haven't really spoken much about her. This is a character that we very rarely, if ever, see in the SPL. When she came out, we saw Energy play around with her a little bit. Emilito brought her into the Hunter lane, and I think once Yaman played her in the mid lane. But outside of that, very rarely do we see this character immobile to a T. No jump, no even movement speed ability. What she does have is that dog right there. That's going to provide a lot of damage, as you heard DJ say. She's a late-game-oriented hunter.
She provides the same style that Neith provides, the ability damage off of her clear. And because the fact that Luminosity banned out the Neith, this kind of forced Venenu into a different style. Now, he's not going to have the global pressure like the World Weaver from Neith, but instead, he's going to have that doggy to be able to tank the Gold Fury like we saw earlier on, and as well as being able to really find the roots. Can shut down Jeff if he uses the underhanded tactics aggressively.
And then, like you said, the roots are the ultimate out of Skadi. Will find a root and just a ton of damage. It's really about the burst that Skadi will bring. That's why you trade out the lack of mobility just for pure damage, pretty much. And she's got a unique crowd control, which I'm curious to see how well Allegiance will be able to vibe with. Once you step on it, you still move in the same direction. So that's what I'm really curious about is Allegiance, have they used a lot of this before? Are they going to combine it with Tremors out of Weaken? That can be devastating, and I'm looking for that combo potential. Right now, Allegiance looking to get aggressive.
They're going to be able to find a lot of damage onto Jeff, forcing out the ultimate, and that's going to be aggression onto Luminosity. Let's listen in to Steel Series listening.
I'll cut out. Don't overcommit, guys. Don't overcommit.
There you go.
Nice job, guys. Good plays. Good position. Going to my red. Careful these reds. Yep.
Yep.
Really nice turn on. A good follow-up, rather.
Yeah.
Those reds are coming up. We have.
Was it on our red? Who the fuck
yeah,
was on our red?
do it.
Okay. Oh, reds are up.
I will. Yep. I saw them.
Cabrakan?
Yeah. They're gonna look at left harps.
Yeah. Alright.
I want to fight there for sure.
I know.
I'm looking to burst these. I don't want to fight them.
We can fight maybe.
I'm weak.
Oh,
We'll
we can fight. We can.
Okay.
Nox is here. My bees are up still. I'm here to fight if you want.
I'm weak.
They're here. Oh, let's go. Go there.
Yep.
Go.
Will speeds down.
Cap maybe?
Careful, you buy yourself mess. You buy yourself mess. Look at that. Look at the Will. Burner. How about Jing? Nice. Good job.
I'm going back up.
Reset careful left.
I
Nice
think
work, guys.
really well played.
Come over here.
Conductor JeffHindla. He's got this group, and it's funny listening to him really reel in Scary and Mask. Scary and Mask want to go hard, and Scary was timid up until this point, and now he's able to really play on his own, but he needs this sort of rope around him. You hear Jeff saying, Mask, you're by yourself. Scary, calm down. And then when it's time to go, he unleashes the hounds and he says, burn her down.
Allegiance was just a little too aggressive to start things off. They wanted to go for an invade, but Luminosity, they saw that coming from a mile away. They had 4 people around that speed buff. They easily collapsed onto the Awilix, forcing out her purification to get away. And Xenotronics was credited with that first blood earlier on, and that's so important when you're a hunter in the mid lane to try to out carry the mid mage, because the late game burst damage coming out of stealth is going to be really difficult for Luminosity to handle.
One of the big things that you saw there in that team fight, or rather didn't, was Venenu. Jing obviously can rotate a little bit quicker, but still the hunter is usually going to make that rotation. Well, that's again playing to the strength. Math quickly just takes out Incon, and quickly Weekend takes out Scary D 1 for 1 right across the board. But this Skadi pick is going to excel at taking down towers, so Venenu opted to stay in lane and do work against the tower. Didn't quite get it, but it's on its last legs.
Shifted out very well, and if BaRRa continues to get pressured out, if Venenu lands these in-hands, lands the javelin tosses, this could be a free tier 1 tower very early.
There's a dog going to go take the tower. That's going to be it, but here comes the rotation from mid. Ultimate out of Skadi. Venenu way bursted! BaRRaCCuDDa takes him out. Obliteration.
Just no possible way to survive. He's level 11 without the Sanctuary. The Purification would not have saved him there, so Luminosity gets a clean kill, but they're still being very confident about not going for the gold here despite having the Fafnir. They're trying to still look for the farm in the side lane in mid.
He got so blown up, man.
It was obnoxious just how much damage the soul does at level 12. Even going for Celestial Legion helmet yet again, which shoes to the Mad Guy. BaRRa is always going for this defensive style.
And one of the big things we talked about, Skadi not having any movement abilities or anything. You got to have the vision. There's just not a lot of vision coming out from the Legions on that side of the map. And as we travel to the other side of the map, we see our face-it player comparison here. Copebby versus Scary D. Scary has had a little bit more success as far as his team is concerned, but other than that, I feel like these players are relatively similar despite the KDA being different. Look at the damage numbers, right? I think the KDA is different because Luminosity has helped out Scary D a little bit more than Cope gets help here, but at the end of the day, their impact in these LAN games have been almost identical.
I agree. Mostly Cope is the sacrificial lamb, I would say, out of his team. We even see we can sometimes pick up the Athena in the jungle role, trying to kind of bait out Cope and then look for the counter gank opportunities. Hasn't been really working out this game too much in the early game, but that last gank was really important, trying to get this Awilix that's coming out of the soul lane in a good position. But surprisingly enough, it's going for more of a defensive style build out of Cope, going for the Breastplate of Valor. Normally you're going to go for the Jotans, trying to get the cooldowns and the pen.
Right now, JeffHindla sliding around in the jungle. That's that CC. And again, Venenu just absolutely blown up. One shot away from death. And Xenotronics will be able to thread the needle. 303 already. That's the slash line for the mid laner there on Luminosity, having a fantastic game as Xenotronics.
Jeff doing a great job being grouped up, saving Mask's life there. One pick onto Allegiance, and now it's Weekend trying to shut down. BaRRa taking so much pork. Going into the separate. Weekend, though, he's not able to get away.
1 for 1, able to trade out as Mask falls down. So does Weekend. Both junglers down for the count. And MLC, it's a matter of time. Scary D, you able to confirm that one off of the assistance again from the mid laner.
3 for 1. Mask was the only victim coming out of Luminosity, but they're still not aggressing onto the gold here. Scary D, though, he's caught out of position. He recognizes Cope is around the corner, finds the slow knock-up into the feather step. Beautifully done. Incon credit with the kill. So now delaying Luminosity from forcing the goal.
That's the combination that you got to look for right there. The feather step after the flip and everything coming out from the Sobek was very well shown by the guys on Allegiance. 12 minutes in so far. Your player damage is being led by that solo laner. but it just doesn't seem to matter. Everything all tied up here despite 5 extra kills for Luminosity. They really want to start this Gold Fury, but Allegiance just not allowing them the time or space.
They could abuse Venenu yet again, already finding 2 kills onto him. They forced his purification earlier on. They're going to group on the left-hand side with Jeff just throwing out a random hammer just for funsies. But look at the second relic choice out of Venenu, going for the Blink. Normally you see Artemises that go for this style with a boar, but Skadi provides a similar style as Artemis. You blink in, you use your ultimate to find the instant guaranteed route. It wouldn't be a bad idea to try to do that against Mask. If you can shut him down, there goes a lot of damage from Luminosity.
You've also got to think about it on the other side. Venenu doesn't have any way of escape, and as long as you're out of combat for 3 seconds, you're able to find that. And with the dog and some of the abilities that Venenu has on the Skadi, I think that blink is almost thought of more defensive than offensive, to be honest with you.
It just seems that Allegiance is going for more of an all-in style with their
Exactly.
relic choices and more of their style of play in general, going for the Cabrakan coming out of the jungle. We haven't seen this from Weekend in a long time. We did see Cherio last weekend, but Mask trying to get away the ultimate from Stealth, predicting that Mask would go through the lane, but instead left side jungle escapes.
I mean, when it comes down to it, right, we haven't seen Cabrakan per se, but we've seen the Athena out of Weekend, rather. And I think it's more about the gameplay. You know me, I'm very less focused on individual gods and more about the gameplay they bring. And I think Weekend on this character and the Athena, it's more about the control, it's more about the tankiness than the pure, you know, just the gankitude there. So BaRRaCCuDDa going to be controlled a little bit. Aggression coming out from the Hunter, but no real fight just yet.
Taking a lot of focus Venenu from BaRRaCCuDDa, and this is not really a smart move to try to box a soul that has so much physical defense. It's going to mitigate a lot of those hits, despite going for Transcendence. You know, you do amplify your abilities, but at the same time, BaRRaCCuDDa with the red buff being 1 level ahead, you have to respect that factor.
Couple of Hunters going at it. Gotta answer fire with fire. We can look for a gank here on the right side of the mid lane, but unable to get the surprise. Luminosity spots the dropout, so Weekend gonna be the target now as ScaryD makes the rotation. Finds a stun on the solo laner. It's 3-on-1, however. Weekend by himself, joined up by the teammates. Incon gets knocked away to the right-hand side. MLC shows up, but he's by himself. Incon forced into the ultimate. The ping's coming out as you see the rotations from both Hunters. MLC gonna try and play goalie as BaRRa is stuck there on the soul, but Incon, he's targeted and he's surrounded and he'll go down. Xenotronics again with the Jing Wei.
Luminosity are just so good about staying grouped. We know every time we listen to the comms, we hear Jeff, you know, calling people in the back line, you know, help out BaRRa, help out Xeno, whoever that might be in trouble. Great blink from Venenu, preventing the Stellar Burst, by the way.
That's what I was talking about. He's going to look for the defensive blink. And that's a fantastic ultimate, but all the tools are used and Venenu gets taken out for the 3rd time.
Yet again, Luminosity finding another pick because they're so grouped up. Venenu cannot be this overextended in the side lanes. He already found the tier 1 tower, but now, because of that pickoff, it's going to be Luminosity forcing the gold.
Weekend looking for the kill, not the objective this time around. Blinking over the wall, finds a stun. Here comes Jing Wei over the top. Gold Fury will be leashed. Well done by Allegiance, but will they lose their jungler? Answer, yes.
JeffHindla going to take a lot of poke from Stealth, but Gold Fury did get reset. So overall, Weekend sacrificing his life, not allowing Luminosity to take advantage of the pick from Venenu.
And despite that being his 3rd death, that's the correct play. You get in there and one person dies, but the Gold Fury doesn't get pulled. That's exactly what has to happen. Allegiance is down 2,000 gold. If that Gold Fury goes down, they're looking at 4 or 5K, which is just obviously a larger. But I mean, 2K is basically a tie game.
And Luminosity, despite having 8 kills to their advantage with only 2,000 gold, it's pretty impressive for Allegiance to still stay relevant in this game. Now, the fact that they got the gold here at 3.5 minutes was a nice little bonus into the fact of that disparity.
MLC getting knocked up and knocked around here. Gonna find safety under the tier 1 tower in the mid lane. However, Luminosity might be looking to wrap around, and that's exactly why Weekend is located where he is on the right side.
ScaryD is going to invade speed buff, but it's JeffHindla caught in an awkward position, forced to use the ultimate. He has to jump away, but the knockup into the Awilix pull, finding the pickoff.
Nice combination there to put number 4 up top for Allegiance. Still getting harassed by their speed buff, but it eventually does go down in the hands of Weekend.
It's not very common to see a member from Luminosity caught alone. Now ScaryD was afraid of the knockup from Cope, so he goes into the big baby form. I don't think there there might have been a miscommunication error, because had he known that Cope's ultimate was down, that knockup would not have mattered.
For sure. So it's just got to be something he's got to be aware of. Venenu going to pick up the red buff, despite being down 3 deaths. Well, I guess the same situation in the mid lane. 0-1-1 for our Noct player and 0-3-1 for our Skadi player.
I'm really surprised Allegiance didn't take advantage of the pick from JeffHindla. They have the Wrath onto Incon, as well as his ultimate. Stealth's ultimate has a lot of damage. Weaken always does a lot of damage, just being Cabrakan. So Allegiance, I feel like, dropped the ball, not going for a goal here at the 17-minute mark. This would have really helped cut their lead.
All the vision on the left side of the map is Luminosity's. You've got one on the gold, one above and below the mid lane. All Allegiance have is something by their own boars, so you're just not going to be able to have that window if you're Allegiance. Luminosity have all the information in the world.
Weaken, he's trying to see whether or not it's Luminosity that's going to force out the gold. Incon leading the charge, finding the sentry ward counter, but Mask, he's going to blink into Venenu, doing a lot of poke. The ultimate comes out, the purification being used, the water illusion not enough damage. He needs to find the distance, but a nice slow.
And there's the cavalry intercepted by Weaken. Gonna find the stun, not dead yet until Weaken finds him one more time. Mask goes down, but Weaken likely to follow. He's able to find some distance, however. Scary D from around the back end, looking for the kill, can't find it. Dashing forward is MLC Stealth. Cope is in trouble as well. Both solo laners are here, but MLC with a beautiful root, and it's enough. Dashing forward, Big Baby gonna take the tower. Can't find the kill on the Cope. Scary D goes deep, but can't come up with what he wanted.
1-for-1 overall. Luminosity, they're basically walking away with a tail between their legs, as Allegiance now have control of the left-hand side lane, and it can't really force the Gold Fury because there is no Wrath coming out of Luminosity. You have to respect Incon's potential to steal. Not only is he known as one of the best hoggers in NA, he has the Wrath to his arsenal, so you cannot really force it without him being dead.
Meanwhile, on the side of the damage charts from Allegiance, you see a lot of damage coming out from Jing specifically. She'll be able to really pick people off as they, or rather, she'll be able to pick people off as Allegiance try to go for that objective. So, I mean, Incon will have the hand of the Wrath of the Gods available to him, but Xenotronics has been on a tear.
And we haven't really talked about Xeno this game. He's quietly been 6 kills with 6 assists at this point. Highest gold in his team at the moment, actually just now being barely trumped by BaRRaCCuDDa, but he's the highest level of his team and the game, so really relying on the Jingwei mid pick for Luminosity.
Allegiance looking for this Gold Fury. Almost thought they were going to hard commit there, but instead they peel off just a little bit. And yeah, Xeno, I think DJ said it best. He's like, look, Xeno hasn't exactly been the #1 mid laner here at LAN, but when they do give him the Jingwei, this is where he looks his most comfortable. This is where he looks his most confident, and it's certainly where he's going to be able to make the biggest impact here. 6-0-6 already. We've said his name a number of times during the team fights for sure, and Xeno has certainly been able to make it happen.
I mean, that's exactly what they've been doing in the online phases. They've been picking the Jingwei Soul combination, relying on Xeno to play the Jingwei, BaRRa to comfortably play the Soul, and getting these comfort picks is something that Allegiance, they either haven't done their homework too much, or they just didn't care about the Jingwei. Instead, they took away 2 jungle picks. It was basically a strategy taking away jungle picks from Mask, Rat, Susanoo, Thor, Hunbats, all banned away from Mask.
And yet, still finds his way onto a dominant jungler. Kuang, certainly nothing to ignore. Luminosity now wrapping around, not looking for the Gold Fury, instead looking for the fight. Looking forward is going to be Mask. Let's listen to Luminosity as they take Allegiance in the team fight.
You guys are fine. Sorry, can you got him. Good job, follow me. Okay, yeah, I have heals. Go.
Yeah, I'm dunking. Their Hog's dead.
Don't dive.
I haven't seen you for gold. Is there a
I'm tanking. Care for Noxel. We should be fine. Here's the 4-man back. Yeah, Scary, just Make him. We got it.
Fight. I got her, Awilix.
Nice.
Good try.
I got the Nice. Good job, guys. Attack mid. For sure. We can double push it. Awilix dead for 50 fucking seconds. Push this shit. Don't push. Yep.
That might be the most
Care for the combos. The combos nice. Play smart.
Yeah,
My tank.
Just free.
Do you have TP, Scary? Do you have TP?
Yeah.
TP right after this. TP right.
Cut him off.
No, this
Guys,
is
not getting it. Alright, got it.
If he's still pushing, I'll TP and you cut him off here, okay?
No, he's not.
Care for Captain.
Okay,
Yep, I got him off.
No,
I got him
you're
off.
No,
Care for getting cut.
Nice.
I'm away out.
And there's our Steel Series listen-in. 14-5. Luminosity take out the objective and the mid lane tower, rocketing themselves to 7,000 gold in the lead.
Their hog is dead is what I heard. And that's exactly what they needed to secure that their first gold fury of the game. Luminosity still extending their lead now to 7,000 gold off of that tier 2 tower as well. Doing a great job holding onto their left-hand side off of the split push from Venenu. So as long as Luminosity stay grouped like the way they have been, they can find the picks. Incon is just not tanky enough to really deal with the penetration.
One of the big things that I took away from that listen-in was JeffHindla. Now, Jeff has always been known as a communicative guy, but some of the complaints that we've heard about Jeff in the past is that he has been almost too noisy. A lot of what he can bring into the team fight can just create a cacophony of noise and not really actually be relevant. This ability, like, you don't need to know when every single ability is down, and that's what Jeff used to be known for. Here, it seems like he has other people really dictating what's going on as far as those abilities, and he's able to just provide this top-level strategy. Hog is down, this player's available, focus this guy, this is our target. And Jeff has matured in the past year and a half to become a much stronger team fighter.
But now it's going to be Weekend caught again. Mask with the ultimate. He's up in the sky. He sees everyone else diving onto Incon. He's going to let him go, but ScaryD being pulled in, goes into his own ultimate form. One pick is all Luminosity needs. And going back off into the Jeff topic, that's kind of nitpicky in my eyes because I would rather have a support that speaks nonstop than a support that doesn't speak at all.
Well, that's just going back to, I mean, that was one of the original reasons that we saw Cloud9, you know, sort of splinter off into different directions. Incon getting aggressed on, chased away, Cope knocked up, but not to be of any consequence. And, you know, one of the things, Season 3 has become, in my eyes, the resurgence of the old veterans. Season 2, we saw a lot of new blood make a lot of heavy impact. And here, we've got a large rookie class, I believe 11 rookies throughout the SPL in total. But when it comes down to it, we're seeing BaRRaCCuDDa step up and be a large presence. Zapman returning to glory. JeffHindla is a big part of that. MLC Stealth even across the way. Despite his team's struggles here, MLC has been one of the top mid laners, and it's been a while since we've been able to celebrate these players of yesteryear. Season 3, here we are, everything coming full circle, and a lot of the names and faces that we saw in Season 1 and earlier beyond that are coming back and making a stand.
And despite all the rookies that we've mentioned, we have 2 veterans on the side of Luminosity, 3 on Allegiance, but it's Luminosity that have the edge in this game.
And it's been the 2 veterans on Luminosity doing the heavy lifting. JeffHindla and BaRRaCCuDDa are doing so much of the heavy lifting throughout the weekend. And finally, we get to see some of the help. Like I said, Xenotronics on this Jing way, he feels a little bit more confident. He feels a little bit more comfortable. And this is what LG needs if they want to survive and become one of the top teams. They're a top team, but are they a tip-top team?
And we're about to find out as Weekend. He's going to get caught out yet again. Master's doing so much damage. He's in the execute threshold. Another clean pick from Mask. Incon soon to follow. Luminosity going to trail down the left-hand side.
And they're sieging in between, not even going for the tower at first, looking for the kill. ScaryD a little bit ahead of himself. Has to pop the ultimate. JeffHindla waiting for somebody to get a little bit aggressive to jump over the wall. And there it is. There's a hit on the Cope, and everybody going forward. Mass looking for the dive. He's taking the tower, and it's going to be taken away. And BaRRaCCuDDa able to take down Cope.
And Venenu, the 4th member, dead from Allegiance. No response possible. Tier 2 falls. Luminosity, they're pushing down the left for the first Phoenix of the game.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. No respect. Luminosity are playing their own game. They don't care where Allegiance is.
I think Allegiance is so demoralized after losing the last set. This is do or die for them because if Luminosity win one game here, that's it. Allegiance is eliminated from Super Regionals at the moment. They'll be having to go through the gauntlet.
Like I said, this is an all-in strategy coming out from Allegiance. They're hoping, we talked about how important it was to throw players off. You saw Divios play the Hercules and more important, some of the solo Ratatasker play and how important it was for Eager to play things that their opposition isn't used to. Allegiance said, okay, you're not used to a Wheeler solo, you're not used to Skadi, you're not used to Nox, we'll just throw it all at the wall and see what sticks. And unfortunately for Allegiance, the spaghetti's on the floor.
They were so focused on taking the Sobek away from JeffHindla that they allowed Luminosity those 2 comfort picks of the Jingwei and the Soul. This has been just the obvious strategy coming out of Luminosity. So I feel like Allegiance, they haven't been really either doing their homework or respecting the fact that Luminosity are so good with these two gods.
That's the key for me, man. I mean, BaRRaCCuDDa and JeffHindla, like I said, have been the majority of the heavy lifting. Venenu falls down and put number 20 on Luminosity's kill charts, and you're giving them the two gods that they've been most dominant with, and then not to ignore the role players around the ring. Xenotronics, he hasn't been fantastic on anything but this Jing way, and here he is being fantastic, looking for another kill. We can barely surviving here, and if you give this many tools to a team this talented, well, it's no surprise.
Yet again, another clean pick. Incon goes down, and this is the point in time that Luminosity can easily force the Fire Giant. The Wrath is dead out of Allegiance. Left side Phoenix. There's two Fire Minion waves that have to be dealt with. Weaken is going to be able to go over there, but Allegiance giving up a free Fire Giant at the 28-minute mark. This is Luminosity's game to win and clench their spot into the Super Regionals.
71,000 gold. Across the way is 56. 21 kills. Across the way is just 5. It's a 16,000 gold lead. 20,000 experience as well. The writing's on the wall for Allegiance. They need to find a way back into this. There is no other way to put it, Anatoly. How on earth do they fight into this one?
They're trying to dig deep, really, with their itemization. We see Venenu's build going for the penetration style, the Brawler speed stick into the Crusher. I think that Allegiance, they want to look for the split push. They saw how effective it was for DJ playing the Bastet, but it's been Luminosity constantly focusing Venenu. He already has 6 deaths, and he has his 7th.
And Xenotronics finds his 8th kill. And you know what it comes down to? This isn't just a split push build for Venenu, even though the Crusher is part of it. It's all about the power in the pen. It's exactly the way he would have built the Neath. We've seen him build it throughout the weekend. It's just the ability-based Hunter build. It, of course, will help out on the towers, but every time this Skadi pushes up too far, Luminosity do exactly what they have to do to this character and just target, focus it down. Weaken looking for the fight. He's gone as soon as he showed up, and there's problems for Incon as well. Same situation.
3 dead from Allegiance. This is going to be Luminosity trickling down into the Titan room. They have the 5-on-2. They're going to get this Titan, get the 2nd seed heading into Super Regionals.
I mean, this game right here, this was Luminosity. This was Luminosity playing PvE. This was Luminosity. They had to take down a couple of towers and kill a Titan, and there was a speed buff with an ALG logo on it. This was Xingqian's Mountain for Luminosity. This was one of the most dominating performances we've seen here, and there's just no other way to put it. Allegiance just could not fight up to it.
The combination of Luminosity being so focused on the prize and the combination of Allegiance losing that last set so drastically to Eager is what just allowed them to really get the win here. So now they clinched their spot into Super Regionals, but this is still important for Allegiance and Noble to really figure out their seeding.
You know, I'm almost disappointed in what we saw out of Allegiance. They're a strong team. They know what they're doing, and I think that their strategy was just a little bit too dire. I think that they got a little bit too nervous. I think if Allegiance stuck to their own guns, that we might not be seeing this win right here. Luminosity has shown to be mortal. They've dropped games. They've come close to it. They almost lost to Noble.
Almost, but they didn't. And unfortunately for Allegiance, I think they were, like you mentioned, they were so nervous that they were trying to dig really deep, going for that Skadi in the Hunter, or going for the Awilix in the solo. Just too risky, not worth the reward.
Unfortunately for Allegiance, their season stops here. We're going to continue the set. We'll see them play game number 2. Let's see what Luminosity have left in the tank, and we'll talk to the analysts.
Well, their season will stop here in terms of this group. They still have the gauntlet, though, still to come, so they do have an opportunity there as well. However, joining me is Taco. DJ is going to be replaced by Taco, and then on top
I
of
lost
that...
all my muscles, that's all.
Is that all it is?
Yeah, just
and
a
your height.
little break in,
And you got more of a tan. Yeah? That's better. That's more realistic.
Oh my god.
There you go. Just say that. Just say that. That's great. That looks great. I'm sure there'll be plenty of memes about that. Meanwhile, over in the corner over here, where's your shirt?
I got kicked.
You got kicked?
Yeah.
What did you kick you for?
I picked Erling too much.
But that's how you could play well.
Really?
Yeah.
You thought I played well? My team didn't. They kicked me.
I mean, you know, you still Fat Chunks Assemble kid, though, after all, you know?
Yeah, I know.
Bring back the hot Fafnir. Let's talk through that game anyway. LG, obviously, very good performance against ALG there. ALG Taco came out with a very interesting composition. Bit of funsies in that, but at the same time, it still had a chance, but it failed.
Everybody on ALG honestly was picking a comfort pick that game. Venenu is pulling out Skadi. That's not something he's unfamiliar with, believe it or not. That's actually a god that he loves running. Copebby, he was originally known for his Awilix, and and I think Cope is usually pretty good on that Awilix, but it was kind of unfortunate. But pretty much the idea for ALG is, yeah, we're a little bit demoralized, but honestly, throughout that set, or throughout that game, they were actually having a lot of fun with those picks and still trying to keep the team morale overall going. Even when it started to look bleak, because LG, you know, they weren't taking any risks whatsoever. They only needed one out of these 4 games, and they went ahead and took the first one.
How'd you feel about that game overall?
Yeah, it was pretty interesting. They definitely had some weird picks.
What's with your voice, by the way?
picks.
Have you lost your voice?
Have I lost my voice? No.
Because you're just like, yeah, man, I'm really chilling. Normally, you're really boisterous and loud. What's happened to you?
I don't
This
know,
is what
I
Eager
chilled
did to
out.
you?
Day one, I baited everybody into yelling, and then I just stopped. And then everybody lost their focus from yelling besides me.
Well, here's some of the post-game stats for you in that game as well. LG, 25 kills to the 5 kills of Allegiance. And now that does confirm LG will make it through to the next stage. Super Regional boys to join the boys of Eager as well. Chunk. I want to call you Chunk for some reason.
I love it.
I can't help it. How do you feel about LG going through? You expecting to go through? Are you happy they got through?
Yeah, I expected them to go through. I feel like ALG actually matches up better with us. So yeah, if we meet them in the finals, I think it's definitely better for us. But LG can definitely change the way they play, and they can change their picks up, and they can definitely come back really, really strong if we do meet them in the finals.
And obviously the other group, Group D, the group of death, as we've been calling it, with how many top teams are actually in that in North America, will continue in 2 weeks' time as well. And then we'll find out who your opposition will be, and LG's as well. But there's still